Good morning. I'd like to call this meeting to order, please. It is a special Public Health Committee meeting. Today is May the 15th, 2023. Please, a reminder that all your devices are to be switched to a non-audible. Joining me in chambers today is Councillor Kassar, Councillor Clark, Councillor Francis, Councillor Wang, Councillor Kretsch, Councillor Pauls, Councillor Taddison, Councillor Alex Wilson. Is there anyone joining me virtually? Okay, thank you. Clerk Gauthier, are there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, Madam Chair. We have two added communication items. Item 3.1, correspondence from Hamilton Acorn respecting full temperature control for tenants, protecting tenants from extreme heat. Recommendation be received and referred to the consideration of item 6.1. Item 3.2, correspondence from Acorn Hamilton, Canadian Environmental Law Association, and Hamilton Community Legal Clinic respecting 2023 Hamilton Community Heat Response Plan BOH 23019 citywide, with the recommendation to be received and referred to the consideration of item 6.1. And we have 13 added delegation requests respecting 4.1, delegation requests respecting 2023 Hamilton Community Heat Response Plan BOH 23019 citywide for today's meeting. Those are the changes to the agenda.
Thank you for your assistance. It's moved by Councillor Paul, seconded by Councillor Taddison to approve the agenda as amended. Any discussion on it as amended? Seeing none, please vote. If you could take my thumb as a approval. Okay, that carries 9-0. Thank you. Declarations of interest. Are there any this morning? Seeing none. Communications. It's moved by Councillor Kretsch, seconded by Councillor Wang to put the communications on the floor. Is there any discussion on those items? Councillor Wang.
I'd like to speak to item 3.2 from the Environmental Law Society Association. I hope I could ask a question of staff. Through you, Madam Chair, do we have any municipal programs supporting low-income tenants on running air conditioning units? Do we have anything about that sort of vein? It's item 3 in the recommendations following the policy actions.
Thank you. I'm going to look to the bench. Mr. Director McDonald.
Yeah. Through the chair, thank you very much, Councillor Wilson. Thank you, Councillor Wang, for the question. I'll have Matt Lawson answer this more fully, but the answer is no in terms of a sustained program. There is some support through community services that I'll let Matt speak to.
Thank you, through the chair. With respect to air conditioning and vulnerable tenants, online, I believe we have Erica Brimley from Ontario Works that might be able to provide more information about qualifications and how the air conditioning units are distributed through that program.
Thank you. Just a gentle reminder, if you could introduce your title in advance of speaking. Thank you.
Thank you. Through the chair, my name is Erica Brimley. I'm a Human Services Manager with the Ontario Works program. The Ontario Works program does provide air conditioners for as a discretionary benefit, one-time benefit between the periods of June 1st to September 30th for persons in receipt of social assistance. So someone who is in receipt of Ontario Works and Ontario Disability Support Program who is living independently in the community and who have documented severe medical condition where without an air conditioner, a medical's professional opinion, the air conditioner would negatively impact their health. We do not provide to low-income residents.
Councillor.
Thank you for that. Second question then is item number 5. Probably through you, Chair, to Chief Medical Officer Dr. Richardson. Do we do any heat-related tracking or deaths and illnesses in Hamilton?
Thank you. Dr. Richardson.
It's Elizabeth Richardson, Medical Officer of Health. I'll actually direct this back to Matt as well, if that's okay.
Through the chair, recent correspondence between our surveillance unit epidemiologist and the coroner's office of Ontario has highlighted the lack of reliable mortality data associated with heat-related events. This issue has been raised through my personal community of practice as a public health practitioner, through heat webinars provided by Health Canada, as well as the Ontario Ministry of Health and Public Health Ontario. The question has been raised at all of those venues. It would be helpful for us here in Hamilton and Ontario to have a consistent process for tabulating the impacts of heat on morbidity and mortality. And those comments have been received by the coroner's office, who is responsible for that data. But to date, we're still behind time. It takes time for them to declare and determine what would constitute a heat-related death. And it's an ongoing process with that group.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Those are all my questions.
Good questions indeed. I recognize Councillor Pauls.
Thank you, and through the chair. So Ontario Works and social assistant, they would get the air conditioner. Who would, I don't know, who would pay for the cost of running the air conditioner? Would the tenant or the owner of the building?
I'm going to recognize Mr. Lawson again.
Through the chair, thank you, Councillor, for the question. I believe that in most situations that we've been hearing, that the air conditioning cost would be provided by the tenant, would be expected to pay for that. However, that would be dependent upon the tenancy agreement between the landlord and the tenant. If utilities were already included in the cost, there has been expressions that landlords may not want tenants to run an air conditioner if they have one, because the landlord is locked into paying the utility fee for them. So between those two issues, it can be one or the other, I think, is the answer. It could be the tenant in some cases, and it could be the landlord in others, depending on the agreement.
And thank you for that. I was wondering, do we have any model, any other cities that do have that, and what their model is when provided an air conditioner to an apartment? Do we have any other cities?
Through the chair, nothing right now that gives a clear recommended path forward on this issue.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any further questions? Thank you. That has been duly moved and seconded, I believe, the communications. So if we could vote on their receipt. Thumbs up for me. Carries 9-0. Thank you. We're on to delegations. May I have a request? May I have a mover and a seconder to put the delegation request on the floor? Moved by Councillor Kazar, seconded by Councillor Clark. Okay. Is now the portion where, we're going to, are there any questions on these requests? Seeing none, if we could vote on them, please. Thumbs up. Just had a brain thing there. Okay, it carries 9-0. Thank you. I'd like to welcome our delegates to today's meeting. Delegates are reminded that they have 5 minutes for their delegation, and committee members are reminded that there are questions only for purposes of clarification. You will hear a ding at minute 4, just to apprise you, you have 1 more minute. And then we'll receive all the delegations after the last one has spoken. So